Here's a quick video on how to access the vehicle speed sensor for output for a 2008 Escape. I think it's an Escape. 2000 Ford. I'll look in the back. So you gotta disconnect the battery. I drive it on jack stands. If you ever forget to run out of batteries, take this little deal out right here. Once that's out, there's a little pusher button inside there. Once that happens, you can put this in the neutral, even if your battery's dead, and you can tow it or whatever. So let's see, I think it's an Escape anyway. I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's Escape. Gotta be an Escape. Anyway, it's got the 3.0 in it. It needs the battery tray taken out. I do this so it's easier to get at stuff. So you gotta unhook some of the battery stuff, take the tray out of the way, which is hangs down about right there, and then 2 bolts in the bottom down there. You want it neutral, of course, because that's what helps that parking pole stay engaged right there in neutral, where you can, after that throttle body's out, you can get this to be hooked up. That thing right there, you got to make sure that when you do put it back in, and then the gasket itself, see how that you got the words out and then the words goes in. There's nothing in there that I noticed. Sometimes I've taken trannies apart and there's balls. Well, I don't see any balls in there. It looks pretty clean. I'll use some brake cleaner and clean that up a little bit more before I put it back in. But yeah, so once that oh, I forgot to show you the plastic. So the plastic here goes all the way to the back of the tire, and that's where you get to take this one out for that spot there, and the rest of them go to the bottom. That looks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bolts to take that out of the way to access it. I already showed you got to take the badge out of the way. Oh, I also use these cords to hang up these wires so they're not in my way when I'm trying to take the pan off. So I just hold that up, and then I use these bungee cords here to hold the radiator hose out of my way so I don't have to drip antifreeze all over and clean that up. So you got your valve body. Now the location of this vehicle speed sensor is right there. That's why you got to remove the valve body in order to access it up there. I didn't have to take the motor mount out. It was a little tricky, but you could get it out without taking that out of the way. All the stuff that you need in here is some little rubber stoppers, seals, and then there's a spring right up there. Just make sure that spring's in there when you put this all back together. And then there's that parking pole I was talking about that does the shifting inside your, for the shifting inside the valve body. And there's 23 bolts to take that off, and 1 nut. And then for the tools I was using, you probably ain't gonna have many of these, but some people do. 8mm, 13mm, 10mm deep well, a 10mm swivel. I use an extension to get them bolts that hang up here for that, for twisting in that plastic, because it's just a little easier. So I got the new one in. Gotta just put that back in and plug it up. And I didn't use the drain. All I did is take the bolts out of the pan. And then once the bolts are out of the pan, it dripped into the container, and I emptied it already. And like I say, 23 bolts, and then it's when you know it's gonna fall out. These are on the right side, or the driver's side of the pan. These are mainly, and then one of them on the top corner up there for to hold the pan on. And that's about all you need to do. Pay a little attention and make sure that that little hot rod right there, if I can find it again, yeah, right there, is lined up with that little pin right there. And that's on the top of the transmission. So hope that helps somebody out. Have a good day.